Hi everyone, Selenium is the most popular automation tool now. In this video, we'll share about how we use Selenium with Python as programming language in Nash Tech. The content of this video includes Selenium Python framework architecture, a sample project for Selenium Python and the demo for it. Firstly, we will have the overview about the architecture of Selenium Python framework. This framework is built on top of Selenium, Python, Python requests, PyTest and Allure report. It's able to run test case on various kinds of browser and integrate with CI/CD tool like Jenkins or Azure DevOps. Let's see the detailed information related to each component of this framework. As we know, Selenium is the automation which is used most until now. It's an open-source tool with huge community. Selenium toolsuite includes 3 tools: Selenium IDE, Selenium WebDriver and Selenium Grid, which supports us to implement script as well as distribute test easily. We can use Selenium with various kinds of programming language like Java, C#, Python. Python has become a popular programming language for many years because it's versatile and simple. We can find the support for Python easily through the internet. That's the reason why we choose Python as programming language for this framework. PyTest is the test runner in this framework, and it supports many necessary features for running test case. It allows us to filter test case or run test in parallel so that we can reduce the execution time. It's very useful, especially for the project which have a huge number of test case. We also add customized arguments like browser or test environment for running test from command line. It makes our framework more flexible in switching browser or test environment. PyTest fixture supports us to initialize or clean up WebDriver or test data easily and avoid duplicate code in our framework. We can choose the scope of fixture as function or module or global. In this framework, we will use Python request for executing the REST API. We can do the API test or use it to prepare or clean up test data. This library is very easy to use. Allure report is very popular, and it's used as the report for this automation framework. It can show us the detailed information of the test execution clearly. We're also able to review the history of a test case and the detailed test steps of it. If the test case is failed, we will have the screenshot which helps us investigate the issue easily. In this section, we'll see how a sample Selenium Python framework project is organized and how to use it. Here is the structure for a Selenium Python project. To make the project easy to use and maintain, the source code is stored in separate folders so that the newbies can get acquainted with the framework quickly. It also helps us save effort for maintaining code. We define dependency packages in requirements.txt file. Core folder contains the core functions of this project. In this folder, we implement the function related to initialize WebDriver, integrate with Allure report or wrap functions related to WebDriver. For example, in element file, we'll create the function for clicking on the web element. In this function, we will wait for element to be clickable before clicking instead of clicking immediately. Thanks to this, users don't need to handle waiting in their script, and the test script will be more stable. The utilities folder contains all the common methods used for the project like datetime or random method. Data object folder is the place we store class for data like user account or book. The helper folder is the place we define the helpers for this project. For example, we implement the keywords for API here. In this project, we leverage the API to prepare or clean test data. It not only reduces the execution time but also makes the script more stable. We store the test data and test configuration in resources folder. According to our experience, we need to run test on many environment like test, staging or production, so our framework supports to define the different information for each environment in env_conference file. We can define the browser we want to test in driver_conference file so that we can switch many kinds of browser easily. Test data is defined in JSON format in test_data folder. In this project, we also apply page object model pattern so that we can maintain the script more easily. Therefore, all the locator and the page classes are stored here. Test cases folder is the place we store test case. We create separate folders for API and UI test cases for easy maintenance. Here is the test case example for authentication. You can see the test script is easy to understand. For the first test case, we will test login successfully with valid account. The account information will be get from data file in data folder. For the second test case, we apply data driven for negative cases to avoid duplicated code. PyTest Parameterize supports us to run all the test data defined here. You can see we can define the test suite or test case title with Allure annotation so that we can have the well-organized report. PyTest allows us to mark the test case, and we can use the tag to filter the test case we want to run. For example, we mark the first test case as smoke here. After running test, the Allure report will be generated. Now, we'll move to demo section. In this demo section, we will run show some scenarios shown here. The demo QA book application is chosen as the application under test. It's the application which allows us to manage our favorite books. We add or remove our favorite books with this application. The application also exposes the API so that we can leverage it for preparing or cleaning test data. Firstly, we will try running test on the local machine. Please make sure you have installed Python on your machine. After downloading the project samples and opening project with VS Code, we need to install dependency package with pip install requirements.txt. Now we'll run the first test case for deleting a book from profile. Before deleting a book from profile, we need to add the book profile first so that our test case can be run independently. Instead of using UI for adding a book, we'll use API to implement this step to reduce the execution time and make the script more stable. Let's run the pytest command now. We need to define the Allure report location here to generate the Allure report. The test case is running now. We will not see the adding book step on UI. We only can see the step for login and delete the book from profile. Now we can open the Allure report. You can see the test steps here. Now we'll try filtering the test cases with tag. You can see we have the tag smoke here. Let's run the test now. It will run only the positive test case of the login file. Now we will change the browser to Firefox. You can see Firefox is opened now. The last scenario for running test on local machine is running test in parallel. The number of process here will define the number of browser instance at the same time. Let's run the command now. You can see it's opening 2 instances of browser now. Running test in parallel will help us save a lot of time test execution. Now, we'll move to the second scenario, which will run test on Azure DevOps Pipeline. You can see we have file pipeline file here. In this file, we will choose the Windows machine for running test. Python is installed on this machine, and we have the step to install dependency package here. We also can set the resolution. Here is the step for running test. After that, the result will be published and uploaded to the artifact. Now we can trigger the pipeline for running test. You can see we have some variables for choosing browser, test environment or tag for filtering test case here. It will make pipeline more flexible. Let's run the pipeline now. You can see it's checking out the source code. Install dependency package. And the test cases are executed now. The test execution is going to finish. Now the test result will be published and uploaded to the artifact. After running test, we can see the result here. We can find the Allure report uploaded to the artifact here. That's all for this demo video. Hope that you can feel interesting with the Selenium Python framework. Thanks a lot for your listening.